hear me?
you're talking?
Nah, I wasn't talking just now.
You have a technical difficulty. Your YouTube is gone off.
Again?
Is it back on? I got both of them on. I think I need to close one.
I think it's back up now.
Are you just showing GJ?
So it's showing GJ and Nollis.
Side by side?
Yeah.
Let me start over there. I'm not even recording in my Okay, yes, it started over. Okay, I'm gonna hang up off I'm gonna just watch it from the YouTube. I'll keep it on both. I'll just unmute my.
Yeah, Zoom is where we normally have
you made your nice lump sum. I
Oh,
had
for
to
gold.
I had a break and retest, but I just took it to the next 1 hour zone.
Oh,
That's how
took
you do
gold
it all
all the way.
yeah, man.
I was anticipating it based off of structure. To be honest, I didn't even realize that there was news until afterwards.
No,
But
too many drops. It was way too many drops for all the pairs.
yeah, I wasn't aware because I didn't check it because ideally it retested a zone that I was waiting for it to retest. So I was really just about ready for the sell. Likewise on GU and NAS. So those were the three that I was focusing on.
I presented that one in the Monday class for the team, the break and retest of those.
Hmm.
So hopefully I helped a few people that got in right.
Uh, for gold.
I had a question because my break and retest happened on the right hand side of the line. And I was just like, it was a downtrend. I was getting confused. So that was the question. And that setup is the one you took all the way down.
All right.
I'm gonna mute so I
Sorry.
never,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna mute so everyone else want to see the live. So let me be quiet.
No, no, you're fine.
Okay.
You can just repeat what you're saying.
Okay. So in class yesterday, Jess allowed us to ask questions and share our screen. I shared my goal screen because I was getting confused with the break and retest and the position it hits on the trend line. So even though it was going in the buy, but my break and retest, the retest happened on the downside. And so I was saying that I was overthinking it because it's clearly showing that it's about to now go from a buy to a down. And that was the question. And she's like, you need to stop overthinking. That's the perfect setup to go in. And that's what she was like, that's a perfect setup. Go in.
Hmm.
It was a downtrend.
Oh,
So that's the one I presented for myself. In class. She did class a little different. She let us share our screen.
but yeah, it was a downtrend
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah, but remember it was going up. It was going up in the buy for a while. And then today we had our break and retest Monday around 7 o'clock a.m. And that's when it started going down.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Sorry. Yeah, so I was getting confused because I had the placement of my trend line. I think I overthink things. It was going on the buy to the left side of my trend. So when it did the break and retest, it was now on the right hand side of my trend line, which is indicators now about to go to a downtrend.
Oh, you mean the backside? It's better when you say backside of it.
And backside. Yeah, so I'm just trying to understand with different scenarios what to do. So yeah, it was the backside. So that's the proper way, the backside. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was expecting it to maybe potentially keep going up the buy, but this case it was tricky because when they did a break and retest it in on the backside and it started going down to a sell.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna show you what.
Okay.
All right. So hopefully this doesn't mess with it. Oh, YouTube people, music louder than Nollis. Hold on. All right. So the breakdown. Let's just look at it.
Okay.
Um, Gold 1 hour time frame. All right. So try to find one that is clearer. All right, so this is the chart that I was really working on. So I keep two main charts, not just for gold, but for each pair that I trade, especially if I traded heavily.
Why do you keep two charts?
So my zones and one with everything else, trend lines and
Oh, one for just zones
all
only.
of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is more of a higher time frame trend for me. So this is
Mm-hmm.
what I was looking at. So ideally I had this area right here in
Okay, so it's kind
question.
of like a channel, kind of like I guess I don't know if it's considered a channel, but
Yeah.
I had that marked like that, the top and the bottom. Hmm.
Yeah, so this channel was just for the buy because
Yeah.
I was expecting it to pull away and to retest this area. However, because of all the noise, I had different levels, so I was working with this level at first, which comes from over here
Mm-hmm.
and goes all the way over to the right. So
Okay,
using
okay, I gotta pay
this,
attention to the left because your YouTube is kind of delayed. Okay, let me focus on the left side. Okay.
yeah, so it's right over here.
Mm-hmm.
So, hold on. Okay, good. All right, so I can much better. Okay. All right, so yeah, this was also clearer on the daily time frame, as this was really the time frame that I was using. So this is the area that
Mm-hmm.
I had in mind, that I was really paying attention to and waiting to see what price would do when it
Mm-hmm.
got in this area here. So it rejected from here, and yes, I was looking at the buys, but because I know it was short terms buy, I did trade it as well, but nothing to. We had trades in and out, as you saw on the other gold chart that I had, but for the sell, it was mainly off of this zone right here. So the yellow line would be the bottom of it, and the blue or whatever color that is would
Mm-hmm.
be the top of it that I was expecting. If price broke through here,
Mm-hmm.
then I was looking for it to tap into this zone. Um,
So
not
what's the yellow and blue? That's your 1 hour and 30 minutes. What's that yellow and blue?
no, so this is a daily time frame,
Daily. Okay, that's your
daily
daily.
4 hour.
Okay, daily and 4 hour. Okay.
Mhm. So that is what I was looking at overall. It comes from the monthly time frame. I don't really always like to go this far, but as you can see, we got a clear break and retest of this monthly trend line
Mm-hmm.
here. Also with failure to break above these level on the monthly. So I knew that overall we're gonna go back for a sell. That's where it started. So the first news run caught this move. Right here
Mm-hmm.
you can see on the weekly we got a bullish close here, but the sell confirmation started off the daily with this zone in question, and then I just used the wick from here, and from the 4 hour time frame it's pretty much the same thing that we're going with. So right here, so as I was saying, ideally it was this yellow zone that I was looking at, this yellow marker here, this being the top of it. It could have broken through, but even if it did, wasn't looking for it to go above this gray area. So I was watching I was watching that.
Okay.
So from there I had my trend line. So I had this trend line, something like this here, just as
Yeah.
a guide.
Same. I
So
had that too. Mm-hmm.
ideally, I wasn't looking for a retest of this because of the incline of a trend line. Normally, I like something like maybe a 45-degree or so, but
Mm-hmm.
I was using this to get the break. Once I got the break off of this, I was looking for a retest of a zone, not necessarily the trend line. So
Mm-hmm.
right here, price created support here
Mm-hmm.
and was watching that as well. To the left from here, this was also a zone where price created a support right here, and it was somewhat respected right here.
Mm-hmm.
So because I saw that level was being respected from the 4 hour, I was like, okay, so that is a confirmation. So jumping down to the 1 hour time frame, we got something like this.
So
So,
okay, yeah. I had a break and retest in trend line, and I had a break and read. That's what my note says. A break and retest in the trend line, a break and retest of the zone. But I have for both 4 hours.
uh, so for me, it was this, the
That 4 hour.
retest.
Yeah. Okay, I did get that piece. I didn't get the daily, but I did have the break and retest of the 4 hour, and that's what I had in my notes.
Right in
I'm
here.
a,
So we were in gold sales from these wicks right here, waiting. So all of this, we're just waiting. As I said, I did not know about news. I did not check it. I just knew that we're gonna fall. So I had my stop above here,
Mhm,
which is a bit wide. And then when this happened,
mhm.
right here, I sent it to the group because this was before. This is 6 in the morning before I went to sleep. I had them updated on this.
Mhm.
Um, hold on, getting some thing here. Let me just. Oh, wait. Hold on. Oh, okay. Now that 20 pips. So for a GJ, anyone who took it, you can bring your stops to break even. Now, as we're approaching 20 pip, take partials at 20 pip or close full position. I'm looking for sells anywhere at 163, 100, anywhere in this area, in this box, or last chance right at this retest of this trend line. So y'all can keep that in mind for the persons currently in GJ. Alright, let me just a minute. Alright, yeah. So back to what I was explaining on this. All right, so yeah, so this was the chart itself. Um, so you see it has the same markings. This is not the chart that we were just on, but it has the same markings because it's the same area of entry. Right here was the entry, a little bit of drawdown for the signals chat. Now, this is where I was explaining to someone on Instagram as it relates to spreads, because some person said they got stopped out with this trade here, because this is where the stop loss was 1852 and price came to 1851. I think about 70. Yeah, right there. So it took some people out, had to re-enter, but this was it. So other than this move right here, all of this right here, I was not watching it because I had just stepped away. As I said, I didn't know about news because I didn't check the forecast, but I knew that with all these confirmations, we're gonna sell at least to this point. Um, Before when I saw this candle going, I'm like, okay, we're going all the way. Still have more sales left in gold. However, what I'm looking at is a possible retest. First stop would be this little green line here. Um, could retest this area, but not really looking for it to go that high. So I'll take a retest of this area to continue down. That's overall what I'm looking at on gold right here. So hopefully it would be nice to get the retest so that for New Year we can continue going down. That's what I'm looking at. So that was the whole idea behind the gold sells, especially because been hawking gold sells from this very point up here. Have some persons still holding positions from the entry that was given here. Um, as it's the overall long run that I'm looking at, um, just to see about breaking some new lows on the higher time frame. So all of these were just different confirmations, but this I had was a key area for me. You see it marked on this one again with this line here has an alert set on it as well. So the zone was here as well as on the other chart as well. For GU, um, that trade, I was in the cells from this area here, which was last Tuesday. This was a swing trade that I had. So realizing that it was consolidating between these points, so we were in sales, in buys, in buys, in sales. But right here, I sent a swing position right here from this point and held it all the way. So not at final TP for this as yet, but so far it's that's about 300 pip um in profit. Still has some way to go. Again, just like gold, I'm looking for a retest. This one is much cleaner though. Looking for a retest of this area before we continue down. So it can just fall. However, I'm looking for the pullback, just as how GJ is pulling back now. If gold gets the pullback before GJ starts falling, then that should just make it easier. Um, this one is not active just yet. Not looking to do this though, because more than likely this one will be for late Asian to London. But for GU, if anyone is interested, y'all can look at um, buying it. I'd buy it at a break above this area, just about 183.93. Um, any breaks above this area, then we can look to retest um, here this area for continued sales. The other one that I took was Nas. It's been a while since I've traded Nas. Um, but this was the entry for the signals chat. Um, Personal entry was right here on the retest of this. However, based on the fact that it was a swing trade or a long-term trade, then I wanted to get a safest entry as possible. So for this one, I used a sell stop, which was right at the break of this low, which on the 4 hour it's clearer. Um, so on the 4 hour, it was a break of this support level right here. The reason I missed the perfect sell entry because I had this zone marked, but I didn't have an alert set. And when I caught it, the candle was pretty much closing down here. So I just waited to see if it's gonna go back up to retest the area or if it was gonna consolidate to the trend line. So that's why I had this as a sell stop below this level to target some lows. So overall, this is coming from the 4 hour and the daily. It's a bit clearer on the daily. So it's this level right here coming straight across. You might see it a bit better on the 4 hour, um, which is right here. So this is what I was looking at because price gave a few confirmations that I liked. So here I created a high, we got a low, and then price made a high right here, came down and it made a low, significantly lower than um, the other. Took it pretty much equaled this one. So when I realized I was going up, I was looking for no uh higher a higher low, sorry, a lower high. So what area would I be looking for a lower high? It could have been this area, but because of how the candles were printed here being all small, I wasn't too favorable of this area. So I decided that I'm going to look for another area. I realized that right here was perfect because we had a lot of rejections right in this area from the wicks. This would be the top of the area, which would align with the trend line as well. So I was using all of that as my confluence for the NAS trade. So currently, so that is why I took it um, using the sell stop. And then when I heard my alerts going off, I knew something was happening. That's how I knew news dropped when I heard my NAS alerts, because all of this was moving slow. All of this was pretty slow when you look at how the candles are closing on the 1 hour time frame. It wasn't really moving. So to leave the charts where it's not really moving and then you just hear everything going off, it was like, what's happening? And then I realized, so entry was here, and then a second entry was added when this retest. So when this candle here did the retest, that's where the second entry was done. First entry was on this bearish candle at the break of this area, this support. So those are the ones that I was in for news. Well, news caught me in the trades, but those were the ones that I was playing with in that time. All right, so we're just about 20 pips up on GJ and approaching that area. All right. 62. All right, so I'm looking to sell at 163. I'm gonna do a sell position at 163, and then with a small lot, wait to see if we get the rejection there, and if it should push up to the trend line, then I'll just add another position there. But overall, that's what I'm looking at. Continued sales on GJ. I mean, I see you might have questions about this trend line, but it's pretty much would be in line because it I'm not looking for it to break above this zone right here. So I'm good for sales once we remain below this area here. So still riding GJ buys, waiting for it to hit 163, and then we move from there. Um, I think I had a question on, let's see. Do you trade multiple accounts? I always wonder with many people levels than hedging. How do you manage risk? Multiple accounts, yes. Um, but as it relates to um, multiple TPs, if you're using one account, then what I'd recommend you doing is you just take partials at each TP level. So if you're working with three and you enter with your preferred lot size, as the trade goes in your favor, you just close out percentage at each TP level. Outside of that, one other thing that you can do is, for example, if you normally enter a trade with, let's say, a 0.30 and you have three take profits working with, what you can do is to actually enter the trade three times using 0.10 for each entry, and then you just close one entry at each take profit. So once you reach take profit one, you close one of your entries. Yeah, you close one of your entries and then you just move your stop loss to break even. So for example, if my normal risk was 0.30, I'd have three open positions right now. Or based on the fact that I'm using two TPs, I would just have two open, right? And then with those two, I would probably use a 0.15 for each to make it to the 0.30. Once I get to TP1, I close one, and the one that's left, I just move stop loss to break even for that one and let it run. So should it go back to your entry, you would have already secured from the first position and you'd have just been stopped out at break even on the second one. So um, that is how I do it. Hedging is not something that I do, not something that I recommend. Well, because how I see it is this: hedging, you're opening two positions at the same time, one buy, one sell, and then closing one, then closing the other, or whatever. For me, that's too much work for me, and I also find it a bit confusing. If it's a case where you know where your trade is going, then you really have no need to be doing all of that. You just choose a position, you choose a direction. If it goes against you, you learn. You figure out why. It's just a bad trade. But personally, I don't do hedging. What I'll do though is if I have a swing position open, I will trade in between that, or I will send signals for trades in between that, just as I did on GU. I'm not sure if you were on when I was going over GU, but I can show you for a quick sec. All right, so on GU, sorry, so all of this, I just adjusted all of these. So all of these are pretty much heading to this level, right? On GU. All because, and the reason why is this, I know that price is ranging between these two areas. So any buys that I do, I'm gonna take it to the top. Any sells, I'm gonna take it to the bottom. So even here, while this was running, we still had trades going. The only thing is that with this one, it was trending in my direction steadily and was fine because at this point I was anticipating the break. However, um, it didn't. And at this point, I was like, okay, let's take a buy just to see if it's gonna go back to the top. I'd close it out here, and if it was approaching, what I would do is just to extend the stop loss just a little bit to be like here so that it doesn't close this overall swing position because overall I know it's going for a sell but still was trading in between the zone, and that is why this sell was caught from the tippity top over here and was still going, and even here we had some sells going as well. um By hedging, I meant like GJ, you're holding major sell while taking minor buys at the same time. Oh yeah. So um no, I don't call that hedging. Um or that's not what I understand from the term. From the term it just means you're opening positions against itself, minor position at the same time. So yes, for GJ, if that's how you understand it, then yes, I'm hedging and yes, I do that. Because overall, the major move is a sell on GJ. Still in sells um, on GJ from this point. Because this right here, these arrows that you see is from the markup that I did on, was it Sunday morning or Saturday? I don't remember, but it was before market open. I did it, and this is what I was looking at to say, all right, we're looking for a break to this area or a break to this area to retest, then sell to this area. Had this line coming from the left as well as a key area, and it was respected. So this is even a better move than it just going to this area, in my opinion, because then no, you get to actually get in on better sell entries because this was consolidation all in here. As you can see, wasn't breaking above, wasn't breaking below. So ideally, to get in on the sells, it was either you're gonna just take it from the top, being that that is where it's ranging from, or you try to find some form of confirmation between. This was a confirmation for me when it broke below this support, because you see a lot of candles close here, but then it just fell right through and then failed to break above. So this was an indication for me that, hey, price is gearing up to make a move. Um, let's see. Chances are, based on what's happening here, it's gonna go for the sell. Now, because I had already marked this up before market open, this was already in the back of my mind that, okay, hey, price can do this. So I just jumped back to this chart, looked at it, and I realized that this is the markup. So right away, I had it. Now, with this candle closing like this, I realized that this zone was gonna get broken. So I was like, okay, this is my key area. And right on, it just rejected. And I was like, yeah. Because when I was looking at the other chart and I was wondering why it stopped here instead of going down. And when I came to this chart, I realized that I had this line marked on it. Um, yeah. Question: what confirmation do you use to enter a trade? Is it a wick at the zone or a trend line? Then wait to see a bullish or bearish candle form depending on the direction. All right, so what's the best way to answer this? Confirmation do you use to enter a trade? So for me, the only, all right, it depends. All right, so here's why. If it's consolidating, I will wait on a candle close. So for example, it's consolidating, right? And these candles close right in the range. I'm not gonna just take the buy to say, oh, it's gonna break. Because of consolidation, I'd like to see a close above. So I'd like to see something close above and then a possible next candle. What this next candle can do is it can go down to retest that same candle, go down, retest here, make a bottom wick, and then starts breaking the high of this candle. When it starts breaking the high, then I would take an impulse entry there. Impulse entry, right? And this would be on the 30 minutes or the 1 hour time frame. Outside of that, I would just wait on a retest. Now, the retest in this case, because it's consolidation, then I'd take a retest of the zone. So price pushes away, then retest, preferably under 30 minutes or above, and then I would enter on the retest. So pretty much it's what is happening here. So we didn't get in on the actual breakout, right? Let's say we didn't get in on the breakout here, right? Your next best entry would be what is happening now because you didn't get in on the break here. So all of this move missed you. Instead of just jumping in, right, you allow it to play out and then you wait for it to retest. So that is how now I'm waiting for a retest of this area, right? Because price broke and now waiting on the retest. However, for the retest, I'm not going to tell you that I have to see a candle closing here and then one closing in the opposite direction. No, I'm not going to wait on that. The fact that this is what I have marked up and this is what I am waiting on. The moment price reaches in my area, anywhere up here, the moment price reaches my area, I'm just going to execute and then wait because I already have it pre-planned, right? So the plan is this to say, because you see I have even the note here. So the plan is to say once price reaches my area, I enter a sell, right? And if I enter a sell here, for example, I'm looking for price to reject. However, if price decides to play around, stay in this area, go up, retest this trend line, retest this zone, I'm fine with that, right? But I'm not going to sit and wait to see if it's going to retest these areas when I'm waiting on a retest of this area. What I do is I just enter my trade and set my stop loss accordingly. Now, even if I entered there and have this as a stop loss, that's a 40 pip stop loss. I can live with that because at the end of the day, I'm risking 40 pip, right? I said 163. Oh, 163 is down here. So we pretty much just about tapped 163. This candle seems to be going down. All right. But let's just take it from here for the explanation. So 40 pips. And I'm like, okay, I'm risking 40 pip just to this area. That's 97 pip. And that's not my target. So even then, it's already a 2 to 1 ratio. And if I were you, I'd enter the sell. No, as I was saying, with a smaller lot, just in case it pulls back, because I already entered the sell right here. I believe I said it on stream. So I'm looking for this. I'm in the sell. Um, my stop loss is going to be here. It's going to be about 50 pip or so. 45, 46. Doesn't matter to me because of what I'm looking for. So my target is going to be somewhere down here. But yes. So you guys can take the sell. No. If you don't mind that wide of a stop loss, then you can. This wouldn't be a scalping entry. This would be more of an intraday slash swing entry. For scalping, we'd have to wait to see rejections and then get a tighter entry. But yeah, hopefully I was able to explain it clear enough so that you can understand. What do you do when everything for your analysis is correct, but price just do a whole different thing? But um, your confirmations add up. All right, so clear it up for me when you what exactly you mean by price doing a whole different thing. So my confirmations line up for the sell, for example, and you're saying that price continues to buy instead of selling. Is that what you're asking? Um, Maceo, if that's how it's pronounced. Let me know if that's what you're asking so I can answer you correctly. Oh, all right. So what happened? So let's say price decided to buy through my areas. What would I do? I would just start right over, right? I would go right back. I would go to my 4 hour time frame first and see. Okay, looking at my 4 hour, did I miss anything? What was my reason for saying price would sell? And if so, and I missed it, why did price buy beyond that level? All right. So you're just gonna know approach your analysis from a different standpoint. No, you're not looking to see um if your sell is still going to play out. You're looking to see what caused it to break here. Is it that down here was a stronger level than you anticipated, or did you miss something in your markup? And a lot of times it's just something that we overlook in the markup. But right here, as you can see, this is a 4 hour time frame. And the fact that we had so many rejections at this level, I doubt that price is just going to fly through it, right? But each situation is different. But what I normally do, if I have a even if I have a trade going against me, be it that it was just a case where I had maybe two confirmations, I go back to look and see what was it that I missed. And a lot of times it's just something that you overlook. Maybe it's a case where you've been trading on the lower time frames so much that you forgot the overall picture of what's happening. And that happens a lot. You're trading on 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes. You forget about the overall big picture that's happening, and it causes you to get thrown off with your analysis. But whenever that happens, just go back to your chart and see what you did, what you missed. Because 9 times out of 10, we missed something, and that's a fact. So that is what I do, because it does happen. I do lose trades, just not as much as I win, but I do lose trades. All right. So for GJ, this is free game. This is a play that I'm looking at for the remainder of the week. Sells all the way down. No, let's see, 30 minutes. So this was a wick rejection. So you see why wicks are really important. So let's just look at it again. So right here. So yes, it can still come back up and buy a little more before selling, but let's just look at what it is showing right now. Wick rejection, wick rejection, wick rejection. All right, so let's see how these candles will close here. It's already breaking the low of this candle, which is pretty good, but it can still go up just as you saw here. It took the low here, and it caught a lot of sellers and took them out because they started selling off of this candle. But yeah, so Maseo, hopefully I cleared that up for you. Here to learn and share. I see you're doing a 3-day site class soon. Would you ever consider doing something similar for those wanting to learn to trade? Well, currently I teach how to trade, but it's in a 6-week course. Um, if it is something that I can consider, yes, it's just that I'd have to tailor it around specific topics. So I'll do some checks to see what the feedback is like on that. And if it's something that I can fit in and make happen, then for sure I'll definitely do that. So it is something that I would actually do. To answer your question, yes, I would. But the reason for that is a lot of persons been asking me about psychology. A lot of persons through DMs, all that good stuff. So I decided that, it was brought to my attention that I could do something like it. And I just decided to give it a try, see how it goes. So yes, but I would do something like that for those wanting to learn how to trade. So if you're one of those persons who are curious about something like that, then you can feel free to send me a direct message on one of those platforms. I believe I've seen that name before. I think I have you on Telegram as well. I should believe so. Name looks familiar though. But you can just reach out to me and let me know. Oh, this is nice. Oh, this is nice. Scalp. So let's do the cells. It's quick scalping again. Um, yeah, this is 40 pips. So let's jump in some GJ cells, guys. We already secured 20 pip off the buy. Let's see if we can get 20 more at least. That would be a good session. And you'd be able to close on that note. Leave you with some runners. Alright, so let's see. 20. Alright, so how long have you been trading? I've been trading, this year makes 3 years. Um, I'd say profitable or this good at it over a year now, but been messing with it for some time. All right, so let's see if this one holds. This is a nice little area on the 5 minute.
Hey, Nollis, you just jumped into GJ or you had a sell stop?
Um, no, so it was the sell limit pretty much. Well, sell limit was at 300. Just jumped in at the rejection here, but we're doing
Oh,
a
okay,
quick
okay.
scalp down now to see.
Oh, okay, okay. Like what, a 20 pip?
Yeah, yeah,
All
I'm
right.
aiming for that.
All right, thanks.
Come on. Do you factor in the PO3 leading up to London session? I don't even know what that is. What is a PO3? Maybe I should look it up. Let's see. PO3. Production. Let's see. Probably a news event 108. Power of three. I just realized it was something with ICT. But no, I can't say I take it into consideration because I have no idea what that is. I'll look it up though. I do see it says PO3 London session has something to do with ICT smart money concept. But no, it's not something I take into consideration because you just brought it to my attention. Three years trading consistently to break through and more than 3 years since you started trading. Alright, let's go again. 3 years trading consistently to break through and more than 3 years since you started trading here and there. No, overall 3 years since I'm trading. Um, consistently would be just about a year or a little over a year. Yeah, power of three. Let me see if I can get something on it. Completed one. It's completed when price breaks and closes above the high of the first candle, which is also the ideal place to open a buy position to protect your trade. You need a stop loss in the market. Your stop loss is just like a friend that is meant to protect you from blowing up your account. Oh, let's see. Reading that just now, it sounds like something that I do, but let's see. Trying to pull up an image here. All right, so for the persons who asked, does this explain what it is? Because Google gave me this power of three. All right, said yes. All right, give me just a minute, guys. I'm gonna get to the question. So the power of three. Step one, downtrend, broken previous lows. So go up previous low. Step two, power of three, center candle with higher lows, left to right. So power of three, bro. Step three, buy when break and close above the first candle's high. Step four, stop loss. Oh, I actually do this. It's what I was explaining earlier, but just in terms of consolidation and breaking out. Not necessarily in the change of trend as shown here. But yeah, it's the same. hmm, It's the same principle. I don't have a name for it. I can just explain it and say that's what I do. So that's what I do. Because it created a new low in the market. I don't use any of this right here though. I just look at this right here. So it created a new low. This one engulfed it. Wait for this one to come down. Create a wick. And I'd like it to be at least half of this candle. And then once it starts breaking above, I'd take my entry there. Stops would normally be below this candle though, for me. Um, hmm, guess it's pretty much the same thing. So, yes, I do use it, but not in so many words. I just call it understanding candlestick movement. That's how I see it. I didn't know about this power of three thing until you guys just brought it to my attention. All right. Next question. Here is the smart money concept kind of says if the market wants to go up, it will go down before making the big move up, vice versa. Oh yeah. What's your take on gold? Well, on gold, we're waiting for confirmations on gold, plain pullbacks or possible pullbacks. Oh no. Oh no. Damn. So we almost got to 20 pip back at the entry. Um, let's see. All right, so staying above on gold, not just for scalps, but looking at potential pullbacks on gold. This was a big drop, so I'm looking for a pullback at least to this level right here before continuing down. So just about 88 pip could be at the bottom here, but I'm keeping my green line right about here. So I'm looking for possible pullbacks to this level before continuing down, but still holding a sell bias on gold. So yeah, so that's where we're at for gold. Just waiting on the pullback. If the pullback doesn't happen, then I'll adjust, but that's what I'm currently banking on, waiting on. I keep forgetting that something is there. Yeah, so that's what where I'm working on right now. So didn't get to 20 pip just yet. Just about a little shy of it there. Um, Came up 13. All right, still holding. Need that 20 pip from gold at least. Now, if we get to the 50 pip area here and it break above, then it really should continue up, or at least to this level, which is pretty much the area that I was showing you on the higher time frame just now. So step at a time though. 20 pips first, and then we move forward. So that's a take on gold right now. I'm waiting for pullback. All right, so how do you journal your trades? To be honest with you, that's something that I'm I don't have a set way to do it, and it's bad, but I don't always do it. But what when I do, what I do is I write down the reason why. So I would look at all right, so let's just do one as you asked. Let me walk you through. So normally, for me journaling a trade, I don't just journal during or after. I normally start with my markup. So on the daily time frame, this is what I see price is doing. In this case, price rejected. Um, Price retested, broken, support as resistance, and is now retesting as support level. Simple as that. Move through the time frames. If something is different, then I'll say it. For the 4 hour, it's pretty much the same thing that's happening. On the 1 hour, um, price is at a key level, waiting to see if we'll get a retest of a broken um, price sensitivity area for continued sells. No confirmations on the 1 hour. 30 minutes candles are forming in a possible reversal trend, waiting for additional confirmations. Normally, I don't go down to the lower time frame, but let's say, hypothetically speaking, we got an entry on the 30 minutes time frame. So entry confirmation on 30 minutes time frame, price retested this level, therefore I see it going to this level. Um, Fib confirms this level as take profit, so therefore I'm entering based on these confluences. Enter the trade, and then once the trade is complete, I go back to say, okay, based on the markup that I did, I took this trade. This is how it ended. Ended in profit, ended in loss. Um, this is what happened. And then based on how it ended, or well, once I do it, I tend to say what was learned from the trade. So if it's a winner, is there anything that I could have done better on the trade? What did I do good on the trade? And if it's a loser, I do the same thing. What went good, what went bad, what could I have improved on? Um, just the same. So I do it before I take the trade. I do it while the trade is going, and I do it after. Before and after to me is really important because before, when you're doing your markup and you're journaling, you're pretty much having a conversation, you're talking out the trade, what you see happening. Because at this point, it's not a case of you are saying that you think. You're saying that this is what I see, this is what I see, and then in the end, you're gonna see based on what price is doing, this is what I expect to happen. And based on all of that, no, I now come to the conclusion that this is going to be my entry. Um, this is going to be stop loss, take profit. And then you just execute on it. And after the trade is done, you just get back to your journal and you pop in to say what you learned and how the trade went. So that's what I do for journaling. I need to do better on it. Um, no excuses, but yeah, I'm a busy guy. So by the time I'm to journal, and then I don't necessarily trade that often, so the journal isn't, like really up to date. I don't really trade that often. I send signals more than how I trade. Oh, yeah, I did the Google search and thing on that Power 3 thing. I factor in the concept of it, but I don't factor in the Power of 3. Because, as I said, I did not know what it is, but based on what I read and saw just now, I do that. But for me, it's more so what I'd call an impulse entry because a lot of other times I don't have anything else lining up with it. I just use that, just how the candles are printed, and just go for it. So that's why I call it um, an impulse entry. So that's always how I viewed it. Didn't know that there was an actual name or that it was an actual strategy. No, I didn't know any of that. I just in the markets, watch how stuff move and decide that, oh, well, it did this the last time. What if it do it again? And it just goes. It just works. So yeah, it's good to know that it's a strategy though. All right. Um, this might be redundant. How to figure out your stop loss? Nah, it's not redundant. I actually had this one on a notepad because what I plan to do, because I'm being asked a whole bunch of questions every day on all platforms. So I had actually started making notes of the questions and how many times do I get asked a specific questions. And this one's one of the top ones. And I was thinking about doing some YouTube short videos on how to like all Forex related, how to this, how to that. And this is actually the first one that I said that I was going to do, how to place a stop loss um properly. No, what I normally do, right, is to place a stop loss as it relates to structure. No, I don't, I try not to count pip because again, the market is not going to move based off of pip. It's going to move based off of structure, right? So just as how we have this one here. So this trade, let's use it. As you can see, I placed a stop right here. Now, how wide your stop loss is has to do with your entry, right? Not the market. Because if you're going to enter here right now, right, then a logical place that you could put your stop would have been here, right? Based on your entry. So stop loss for me, a position is always based on your entry, right? And if you want to measure it, then you just measure it and see how wide it is. Now, what I say based on your entry is I use structure. So this is the last low in the market. Now, if I'm looking for price to go into a buy, it means that I'm looking for it to break highs and not lows, right? So you could have gotten in here with a stop loss of 2 pip, right? But we got in here and looking at it, you're like, okay, if I got in here, where should I put my stop loss? Again, you're looking for buys. So you're looking price to break highs, not to break low. So the most ideal place would be to put it below the last low in the market, right? Or the last low within that structure that you're playing. So this one is just about 12 pip, right? If it is that, I'm not sure if you were on when we were looking at GJ, but let's jump back over to GJ real quick and explain that stop loss as well. Okay, so just as this, remember, right? I said to you that this is a scalp entry, right? However, ideally, I'd want my entry to be right around this area, right? And as I was saying, if I should enter here, with this being an intraday setup, where I would put my stop loss would be above this area here, because again, we're looking for sells. So therefore, we're looking for new lows in the market, not new highs. No, if price break above this area right here, it's pretty much creating a new high because this was a low, significant area that was created and broken. So therefore it should be retested. Now, let's say it pushed up and went into this area right in the middle here. That is fine because you understand that based on structure, this right here is a resistance level. Support, broken, retested as resistance right here. So therefore, if price broke through this support level, I'm not looking for it to pass this resistance level. Also, it lines up with a trend line. If it passes, if it goes beyond this level, then I'm fine with coming out of my trade, right? Now, when you look at it and you're like, okay, I'm waiting for it to retest this level, but you see candles forming as if it's ready to sell, and you look that, okay, it's possible that it's a wick rejection that you're getting, right? You can then say, all right, based on the fact that originally I wanted to enter at the bottom of this level, all right? If I should enter here where price is right now, I would still have to put my stop loss where it makes sense, which would be above this level. Now, can I afford to have this wide of a stop loss? Which I'd say 60 pip, right? That's a question you know ask yourself in that order, right? So the last thing you're gonna do with your stop loss is to measure it. You don't measure it first and then place your stop loss based on the amount of pips. No, because your trade needs room to breathe. Because anything can happen. All right. So the way to have a smaller stop loss is to find better entries. Right. But again, if you understand what is happening, you don't need to get hung up on, as some persons call it, sniper entries and all of that good stuff. You have your markup and you know price is going to go in your favor. This is 60 pip right here, right? If you entered right now using this stop loss based on your ideal entry that you'd be waiting for, right? And you're targeting even here, that's 102 pip, right? Now, if you were to say, throw a fib on there, maybe last high to last low, you got a 50% pullback. Let's say you're gonna bring it down to TP 1 -27 on your pib and your fib. That's a 2-to-1 ratio. You understand? Or what you can do is you wait. So you wait until price gives you an ideal entry somewhere. So you just watch as price goes along and see if you can get in on a possible break and retest or something of the sort, which would give you maybe um, a smaller stop loss if you're not comfortable with that. Could be even this. So you wait price to come down, break this, come back, retest, and then you enter. That is it. So if the stop loss is too much for you, you just wait for a better entry. And then when you get that entry, you just take advantage of it. So in essence, you do your markup, you look at structure, look at your possible entry, and then based on structure, you decide where you're going to put your stop loss, above, below, where structure tells you to, and then you measure it. And you measure it to see if you can afford that stop loss. If you can, you just go right ahead. And with a 60 pip, that's not if you look at a 2-to-1 ratio, that is fine. And you're so confident in your trade that it's just gonna retest this area and fall. Like, you don't even have to worry about the 60 pip stop loss because you're confident it will not go up there. So you just exercise your confidence in your trade. That's it. All right. A perfect example of what I was talking about can be shown on the GJ chart. The accumulation already happened during Sydney session coming into Asian. We're now in the manipulation stage. Oh. All right, so let me tell you something about me when it comes on to trading. I am an A plus B type of person, or 1 plus 1 equals 2. That's it. That's it. Not going to tell you 1 plus 1 minus this, divide by that. I'm not that type of person. For me, in life, and especially in trading, less is more. The simpler, the better. That's how I view it. That's my little mantra or motto or whatever you guys want to call it. So I try not to get hung up on stop hunts or broker did this. I just take the blame for everything. You know, I just take the blame for everything. Like, okay, it's something that I did or something that I didn't do, and then I go from there. Because if I'm gonna blame the broker, ain't no way I'm gonna be better. You know, just saying. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. You know, that's just how I do it. Because every strategy works because persons are using various strategies and they're making money. So it has to be working. But will it work for you? That's a whole different question. The distribution will happen during London, which will lead up to your sell. Well, I hope it happens. How did you get your trading environment to go black? It's cool. Um, I don't remember, but let's see. I think I right clicked settings, style. Was it that? Visibility? No. Text, target color, lines. No, this is for short. Oh, sorry. I forgot that there's a position here that's hidden. I graded out because I didn't want to confuse you guys. Yeah, with that. My bad. So I clicked on the wrong thing. So you just click on the chart background itself, and there you go. Appearance, background, and you change it here. But if you have black lines or dark colored lines on your chart already, I'd advise you to change that first, or you won't be able to see them at all. But that's how you do it. Um, does that sound about right? Yes, sounds perfect. I think you have a great grasp on it. All right, so gold is pumping. We just secured 20 pips on gold. Heading up to the 50 pip marker. Let's see if we get there or how quick it takes. GJ is going. Um, let's do, this is a chart. Yeah, this is a chart. All right, so GJ is running as well. Okay, we have 20 pip down here. So let's go. All right, so those are our two trades. So far we have secured 40 pips, 20 for GJ, 20 for gold. So let's see how much more we can get. Thanks, Kali. Hope I didn't spoil the name. What do you have if you have a losing streak? Wow, that's a good question. All right, so for me, I consider two trades a losing streak. Um, what I do, all right, so what happened last week? Last week when the market opened, I sent out about I sent out three trades at first. I had a few lined up to send out, but I sent out three trades, and all three went and hit stop loss. Like they didn't even bother to go into profits. Really, maybe you got like 5 pip or whatever, but they just took a nosedive and went all the way to stop loss. And to me, that hurts more than if I lost it, because then that's a signals group. That's, people who believe in me and believe in a skill set that just took a hit. And especially to start the week, it's not good. But you have to remember why it is you're doing what you're doing. You know, it doesn't it doesn't feel good to take a loss, but you have to get to the point where losing almost excites you, because it's a case of, oh, I didn't know I could lose a trade, or I didn't know this could go against you. You have to get in the mindset that it is a possibility, you know, and if it happens, you have a plan in place that, okay, if it happens, then you're just gonna go to the drawing board and do what you have to do. The problem is not losing a trade. The problem is when you lose a trade and instead of going back to do